This by Felicia young lady was y'all doing for me. I gotta get off here. Yeah, get them together. All right, y'all. I'm about to call this lady, y'all. I got my Facebook live on too. I'm gonna have to mute it though. When it say couple. Well, actually, don't. I'm just gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay. Let me put this video public though. I wish she'd cut this yard too. Like they come cut that shit every day. Damn. Come cut the one next door. All right, let me mind my business and call these people, bro. Cause next they gonna be pulling up. Just I wish wondering what was going on and all in the live. Why is her number there on the website? That's weird. That's not their number. All right, let me go back. That's not their number. Oh, I got it right here. See, look, here go a bug. I gotta vacuum this shit. Okay. Hello? Wow, I know they didn't say that on this thing. They ain't used to say that. Wow, bitches. I done made them y'all upgrade y'all little system. It sounds so perfect too. Hold on, let me see. I like that. I fucking like that. Let me put this up. Hold on, I'm gonna wait till I come back and hear the call. So y'all can hear me call for real. I wanted to go get me some sativa. I'm gonna have to wait. Okay, let me try this again. Hey, I have an appointment today with Dr. Mason, and it seems like I won't be able to drive until I get some money That's since I decided to give my daughter her money and all this other. I got too much stuff going on. I need some sativa. My tag
What's
is
your date of birth?
6987. You know who I am, babe. It's Mr. Vaughn.
No, I'm not in that clinic.
You're
You
the
said
one
six.
I. Yeah,
You
remember I
said
just called and
65,
rescheduled it.
87.
Yeah, it's okay. You're not being recorded, okay? Just calm down.
Give me your date of birth one more time.
6987, babe. It's the same girl. I had to
Okay.
reschedule it again. I'm sorry.
And what's your name?
I got a brain freeze. I had an appointment today, babe.
What's your name?
Valencia Vaughn, babe. The same girl that just rescheduled the appointment, boo. Just can you let them know that my tag? Okay,
I'm in the Park County location.
hold up, babe. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some funk in it, okay? My spectrum coming out. Just call in to reschedule one more time because my birthday was yesterday. You can see it and you heard it. So my tag and all type of stuff going on, and I can't make it there unless he want to do a Zoom call. So can you phone Dr. Mason and ask him do he want to do a Zoom call instead, so y'all won't bring white trucks here, okay? Sounds cool. She ain't like that
Let
shit.
me get you transferred over to that location, sir. This is the Cobb County location.
I
Hold on
know,
just a
I
moment,
know.
sir.
Thank you, pretty girl. They don't like me. It's the same fucking lady that I just spoke to. She can try to act like she don't know who the fuck she talking to. On top of that, I gave you my birthday. She know exactly who she talking to. Cause she just said, don't forget. Look, they turn play with their mamas, not me. So if I don't call back, they gonna say I didn't call. So call her again. You sent me to somebody's voicemail, girl. I just talked to you. I just talked to you and rescheduled it on my birthday. That's the same lady and all. That's why I know it seemed weird. I go on the site, two things just changed today on me. Two things changed. I go to their site, the whole number is different. I'm like, I noticed this ain't the number. Let me go back to my who I just called on my birthday, cause that's on my card. Not only is that different, it sounds upgraded with some funny shit. Let's call again. I just be I be thinking too much. It's me. Plus they just rolled by like 30 minutes ago. Dog, I just talked to this lady on my birthday, and that was the same lady. She said her fucking name when you picked up. That's the same bitch that I spoke to, and she was sarcastic when I spoke to her. That's why I was just sarcastic, cause she was very sarcastic. Don't forget your appointment. We don't want to, you know. That's why I said what I said. It's like you better just come. Bully and shit. Hey, I had just called. I spoke to another lady. I forgot what she just said her name was, but I was trying to reschedule my appointment again. I know that's the same young lady that I spoke to, so she could remember that I had this rescheduled it for personal reasons. But today, my tag is expired. My registration is expired because of my birthday yesterday. So it's a lot of things going on. I'm just wondering if Dr. Mason want to do a Zoom instead, so I won't be held liable for this, for missing this because of a natural disaster. 6987 was yesterday. Thank you. Appreciate it. Valencia Avant.
So I see where so you have a scheduled appointment with Miss Camille for counseling
Tomorrow.
today. No, it's today, the 10th.
No, I'm supposed to have an appointment with Dr. Mason
You,
today.
yeah, you do. You have one. No, Doc Mason's is tomorrow at 2:30, and Camille's is today at 2 o'clock.
Well, either of the I'm glitching right now. Either of the order, I can't make it to either or because I can't
Okay.
drive dirty.
Okay.
So
No,
ask
I
them.
understand that.
Can you ask them? Can they do a Zoom? Because I'm not sure when I'll be able to get money right now because I'm stuck.
Neither,
I'm at a
neither
standstill.
of them, neither of them provide that service.
Are you able to ask them? Are they willing to make any exceptions due to the
Okay,
point that
the doctor one you definitely cannot. You have to any medical ones you have to come into the office.
oh, but I don't need any medication. That was she asked me would I mind asking them. So at this point, just throw it off the list. Tell them I don't need it. I take sativa and indica. That's all I need. When I need sleep, I take my indica, and if I need energy, I take sativa. I don't need none of that stuff. We've already discussed with Dr. Randy back then that those medications would interfere with my organs and health issues, and he left on my notations that I only needed therapy as needed. So which means I don't need to see Dr. Mason. I
Okay.
don't know why y'all scheduled me for Dr. Mason. All I need is that therapy lady. And I actually liked her, so we
Okay.
can keep her. I just can't come today.
Okay. So we'll just get that rescheduled. I'll cancel the doctor one,
Hmm.
and then I can reschedule the one for the counseling if you'd like.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay. So
appreciate it.
let's see. So none of the medication you take you got from Mason, correct?
I've never met Dr. Mason, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see why. Okay. So in order to have any kind of services with us, you have to have a diagnostic once a year. That's a requirement for you to get once a year. And that's the reason is because it's that time of year again.
But
And you have
it's
to
like I don't mind doing that. I don't mind doing that, and I don't care whatever you guys want me to do. But my thing is they do stuff back to back. That's what I be saying. But okay, just reschedule it. It's fine. I'll see Dr. Mason. I
Yeah.
just can't see
Okay.
him yet.
Okay, that's fine. That's understandable. Okay. Okay.
I'll be glad when I get on my feet, so I won't have to like deal with this. It's kind of like nerve wracking a little bit.
I understand that. I understand. Okay.
Because I could also add this because Miss Penny, she only started to ask this stuff. It's like she bullying me. She only like, cause I had just did this before she fired Miss Yolanda them. Like she only doing this because I was asking to move. So now she's saying until I do this, she can't even put my paperwork in. And she told me that months ago. So it's like I had to wait for these appointments to come. I made those appointments already, but then when I make those appointments, they say, "Oh, then you got to do this one too." So, you know, ultimately, none of this stuff is getting done. Like, you know what I'm saying? With me, them moving me. But go ahead, we can reschedule it. It's okay, babe. It's just the frustration kicking in.
I understand. Yeah, this is just a 1 year thing that everybody has to do.
Okay, okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you don't have to have
It's okay.
medications or
I know.
any of that at all. No. So when would you like me to reschedule this one for you? Like a couple
I
weeks out or what?
I see. Look, I wanted to get it done as soon as possible, and I promise you, right now, I just at a standstill. So I really don't know when I'll be able to fix my situation. So I don't know. So I would say a couple weeks out, just on the strength of wondering if I was to get it done sooner, would I be able to call in and get a sooner date, just so we can get this done, so
Well,
she could. I'm
it
sorry.
just, I mean, well, let me let you know when his next available is.
Okay.
Okay. So his next availability is going to be. And do you normally like mornings or afternoons?
Afternoons, just so if I need
Okay.
time to
Yeah.
prepare.
Okay. So Monday through Thursday of next week is open in the afternoon. Any of those days. So, but if you were to call me, let's say next Wednesday and try to get in on Thursday, I can't guarantee that there'll be
Right.
any more open spots. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, or we can just wait when you're in a situation that you want to, that you're able to come in and you can call me to schedule it. Um, you know, but if your case manager is telling you that this is something you have to get done before she can do what she has to do or whatever, then that's just going to prolong, your end of it.
I know. I
But
know.
I
Dang.
understand.
Mhm.
I understand. I understand. You don't have any control right now
Yeah.
over that. So,
Okay, so let's
but
do
I
this. I appreciate you for being understanding. Let's just do it like this. Just schedule me that date and afternoon that you said that his next availability, and I will try my best to work around this to figure out if I could even get a ride there, a taxi. If so,
are
it's
you
fine.
able to take one of the buses? Can you take a bus?
I could, but I don't have my brace right now. I've been walking bare, so I don't want to be out in a
Okay.
predicament like that and faint and fall out.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So, so you want me to schedule one for next week or the week after, or you just want to call me when you're in a situation that you know you can make the appointment?
The thing I was gonna say, I try to work to get a ride because my daughter she drives sometimes her friend's
Right.
car, so I was thinking I would do something like that or a taxi or something. Or do you guys offer transportation?
No, sir, we don't.
Okay.
Do you have Medicaid?
Yeah. I think they fixed
You
it.
do.
Okay, okay, yeah. I was just gonna think that too. I was finna say that too. I can call to see because I have Medicaid again now. I can call and see if I can
Yeah,
schedule
because
that.
they have transportation services, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's
And I
do
think
that.
it's got to be 3 days out.
Right. It has to be like
Right.
24 hours before, 3 days before. Yeah. So can you
Yeah, it's got to
do?
be 3 days, I think.
Just do
So
this. Do
you'll
this.
be to.
What about Miss? What about my therapy session? What can we figure out? Uh, I just don't know
I'm
how
going to
long.
reschedule. That's
Mhm.
all right. I'm going to reschedule that one. And those therapy sessions are usually a ways out. So I'm not concerned about that one because I know that you'll have plenty of time to come to that one
Yeah.
probably. And
Okay.
like you said, now you can use the Medicaid transportation. So getting to your appointment shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. I had to double check because I had an issue with my Medicaid being cut, but I think it's back on. So that can be a definite help. If I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to schedule the one for next week for Mason or the week after?
Just go ahead and do the week after. I want to be safe. What? Let me look at my calendar. What date is that? Because I'm working on some things. Um,
That's the week of the 23rd.
okay, yeah.
Monday,
Okay, yeah.
so it can be the 23rd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th.
24th. The 24th, and that'll
20,
be
Tuesday the
20.
24th.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And do you prefer, let's see, I have a 12 o'clock. Would that work?
I guess so. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna write it down. You said the 24th.
If not, I could do 2 o'clock. I can do 2 o'clock the next day. I could do two
2 o'clock
o'clock
will be
on
so much better.
Wednesday.
I will be,
Okay,
yeah,
so
2 o'clock. Yes, ma'am.
Wednesday, Wednesday the 25th at 2 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. And my, I can't even say it right now because I don't know the number. Because I would meant to update my,
You want?
I meant to update my number so you guys could text me because that really helps me when you text me because I get
Okay,
forgetful.
sounds good. I can do that on your chart. So give me 1 minute. Okay, so let's see here. All right. Okay, so so okay, so let me see when the next therapy.
I hate to reschedule stuff. I really do.
It's okay, life happens. Just
Thank
remember
you.
that
Thank you.
life happens. We don't have control sometimes. So
Thank you.
I mean, it's not like you're not coming in because you decided to sleep in or something. You know,
Oh
it's
no.
yeah. So, okay, looks like good afternoon. What time would you prefer your appointment to be? Give me a time if you want it to be, so I can determine within that time.
With the therapist.
Yeah,
Uh, if she have afternoons too, like I said, afternoon
right.
would be work better.
What time? Right, but what time in the afternoon is what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. Anytime
Okay,
after one, after two. It doesn't matter.
okay, okay. So her first available is going to be Tuesday, July the 22nd.
Ouch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Can you ring her and tell her I'm so sorry? Cause I liked her and I was looking forward to speaking to her again. So, ouch. Um, I don't know. She doesn't have. That's the only thing
Hey,
she has.
yeah, that's the earliest. That's the soonest. Yeah, those the counseling appointments book up quick, and they are scheduled way out. Um, let me do this before I cancel today's appointment. Let me email her and see if she is able to do any kind of video
Oh,
session with
phone,
you at all.
anyone? Yes, ma'am.
First,
Okay.
well, I know she can't do over the phone, but she may be able to do video. I'm going to check, and then I will have her reach out to you. Okay?
Okay. All right. Thank you. That sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, and if she's not able to, then we'll get that rescheduled. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So make sure you put on your calendar June the 25th at 2 o'clock for Mason.
The 25th. Yes, I didn't even write it too. So,
Okay.
okay.
All right. And then either she or I will reach out to you about today's appointment at 2. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye bye.
I know her. I was playing it off, like pretending. Hey guys, it's me, love. They know I'm recording. That's why they always. That first black lady was being very, very, very petty. And then gonna say you at another location, girl. Y'all only got two locations. Sit your pissy ass down. Okay, hold on. Like it's a lot of them work at the desk. Bitch, it's about 4 y'all at both locations all together. Sit down. Why couldn't I schedule this? Pretending to save the world, but only. And then what's so funny is like that same lady who just pretended to act like she don't know who I was literally saying, oh, cause I was like, what I said, and they just used that same that they just literally mocked me. The nice, pretty white the lady I just spoke to mocked me. It's not like you're just laying in. When that lady just said that to me, I said it to the lady who pretended that she didn't know me and who I was. I told her when I was rescheduling it that I fell asleep, literally, cause I called first. I was on live when I called. Like I called to tell them that like to find out what time it was, cause I thought I missed it, and she was like such and such time, and I said okay, whatever. Finessed her with what I said and everything, cause they was gonna use that against me. So then I fell asleep literally I really fell asleep, y'all. I promise you. I tried to stay up. My eyes was like something told me if I would have got up and did what I wanted to do at that moment, that thought, I would have made it to the appointment. But because I started to do this with the videos, I was in the house and this song was playing and I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was like 6 o'clock. I don't even know what time it was. It was after the appointment, but I'm so happy I didn't go because some stuff had happened to my car, and I didn't find out until afterwards. So I'm like, damn, that's why God allowed that shit. I would have been driving out there with a headache, you know what I'm saying, with this bullshit. So I called her and told her the next day I fell asleep. Like I said it sarcastically, and called it a natural disaster. So she just used those same mocking words to me. Like, it's not like you're just staying home and sleep. But y'all see me, I'm not in there laying down. And my car really, let's go take a picture of the fucking tag shit. Like my shit, I can't drive it. I said let me show it this on my live since they be watching me so much. That motherfucker say June 25th, June 25th, June 25th, June 25th. I ain't capping. I ain't making shit up. I can't drive my shit for real. And they just wondering why she's so calm about it. And they don't know, like, I'm really, alright. I just helped myself out. If I wouldn't have called like that and scheduled it with the excuse that I said, they was gonna come here. I promise y'all, I know these people, they been real petty to me lately. And that's why they got this bitch mowing the yard again. He just mowed it yesterday, bitch. He just mowed that shit yesterday, nigga. Just mowed that shit. Alright, let me get the noise out of me.
Blending and drinking into one seamless process, but it's also super easy to use. For a
They know I'm live right now because the lady just rolled by 30 minutes ago.
Orchestrating a secret campaign to destroy your reputation just got completely exposed. And their humiliation is so devastating that people are literally walking away from them in real time. Every lie they told about you, every person they convinced to turn against you, every door they secretly closed behind the scenes, it's all backfiring in the most spectacular way possible. And what's about to happen next will blow your mind. You've probably dealt with someone in your life who always seemed to know what was best for you. Maybe it was a parent who never let you make your own decisions, always insisting they knew better because they were older, more experienced, more practical. A sibling who constantly criticized your choices and made you feel like nothing you did was ever good enough. A friend who always had opinions about your relationships, your job, your money. Someone who made you second guess every decision. This person positioned themselves as your protector, your guide, the voice of reason in your supposedly chaotic life. They convinced you that without their input, you'd make terrible mistakes. They made you believe that your instincts were wrong, your dreams were unrealistic. unrealistic and your independence was dangerous. They had this way of making their criticism sound like care. I'm only telling you this because I love you. Someone has to look out for you. You'll thank me later when you see I was right. They weaponized concern to justify control. Sound familiar? This is exactly how emotional manipulation starts, and it's more common than most people realize. See, you're a chosen one. That might sound dramatic, but here's what it really means in practical terms. You have this natural ability to inspire others, to see through fake people, and to create positive change wherever you go. You're the person people naturally gravitate toward for advice. You have good instincts about situations and people. Some people recognized this about you long before you did, and instead of celebrating it, they feared it. They understood that your natural leadership abilities and authentic presence posed a threat to their own need to be the center of attention, the decision maker, the person everyone turned to for guidance. They knew that if you ever fully trusted yourself, if you ever stopped asking for their permission, if you ever realized your own worth, their control over you would disappear. So they built an entire system designed to keep you dependent on them emotionally, financially, and socially. Here's how they did it, and you're going to recognize these tactics because they're textbook manipulation strategies that toxic people use everywhere. First, they controlled the narrative about you to other people. They told family members you were irresponsible.
This boy
with
say,
money,
I
always
don't need
struggling,
shit except
always
someone to
making poor
take me off
choices.
this fake
They shared
ass watch
stories
list
about your
that my
past
haters
mistakes
got
like
me
they
on.
were current behavior,
Keep a nigga
making
under
sure
tabs
everyone
and
knew
shit.
about that time you got fired, or that
Man, y'all look into
relationship
this
that
shit. This
didn't
was
work
somebody
out,
else wrote.
or
It's
that
funny as
business
fuck.
idea that failed. But notice how they told these stories. They never mentioned the context, that you got fired because you
Fucking
stood up
nigga.
to a toxic boss, or that relationship ended because you finally developed standards, or that business didn't work because you were learning and growing. They stripped away all the growth and learning and just highlighted the failure. They made sure that anyone who might offer you opportunities heard about your problems first. Before you could even meet potential mentors, employers, or romantic partners, these people already had a specific image of you in their minds. Someone who needed guidance. Someone who wasn't quite capable of handling adult responsibilities. Think about those times when opportunities seemed to mysteriously fall through. When people you thought liked you suddenly became distant. When invitations stopped coming. When doors that should have opened stayed firmly shut. You probably blamed yourself, thought you weren't good enough, and wondered what you did wrong. Maybe you applied for jobs and never heard back, even though you were qualified. Maybe you were excluded from family gatherings or friend groups without explanation. Maybe romantic interest seemed enthusiastic at first, but then suddenly lost interest for no apparent reason. You internalized this as evidence that something was wrong with you. You started believing maybe you really weren't as capable as you thought. Maybe you really did need someone else to guide your decisions. Maybe you really were the problem. But what if none of that was about you? What if someone was working behind the scenes to make sure those doors stayed closed? They were managing your reputation like a negative PR campaign. Every conversation about you was carefully steered toward your shortcomings. Every story they told emphasized your need for their guidance and protection. They became the expert on you, the person everyone turned to for information about your life. And the insidious part? They often mixed truth with lies. They'd tell people about real struggles you'd shared with them in confidence, but they'd leave out the part about how you overcame those challenges. They'd mention real mistakes you'd made, but not the lessons you'd learned or the growth that followed.
Yes, sir.
This made their version
There you
of
go,
you
baby. It's gonna
believable.
motivate me today.
People trusted them because
I
there was
need all
enough
this
truth
shit.
in what they said to
Thank you,
make the
Father.
lies seem credible. Meanwhile, you were just trying
With
to
no
live your
money in the
life.
bank,
You're
Baby
working
daddy's
on
still in
yourself,
prison and he
maybe
ain't
going
trying
to
to hear it, and
therapy,
his family think
reading
she tricking,
self-help
but they
books,
ain't paying
trying to
visits to
heal
the
from
children or
past trauma,
showing recognition
learning
when
to
you
set
say that she be
boundaries.
tripping, and you
You
know
thought
she
this
been
was
doing it
private
alone
growth,
for so
personal
long, been
development
hustling
that
all her
only
life, but she
affected
don't
you.
know when it's wrong
You
to
had
tell
no
me.
idea that your
Who you
healing
think gonna
was
do it if she
threatening their
don't?
entire
When the
power
kids
structure.
depending on mom to
The
lean on, we only
therapy
get one
sessions where
mom,
you
better
were
go
learning to
hard or go
trust your own
home.
judgment,
Thank you,
that
Father.
meant you'd stop seeking their
Free
approval for
time
every
and they'll see
decision.
it ain't
The
long.
boundary setting work you were
Decision,
doing,
but
that
maybe
meant
not.
you'd stop tolerating their criticism and control. The self-worth exercises you were practicing, that meant you'd stop believing their negative assessment of your capabilities. Every step forward you took was a step away from their influence, and they could sense it happening.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. With DuckDuck.
What they didn't count on was that real growth is impossible to hide. When you start healing from trauma, you stop accepting treatment that feels familiar but harmful. You recognize manipulation tactics because you've learned about them in therapy. You start choosing people who respect your boundaries instead of people who push against them constantly. When you learn to trust your gut, you make better decisions consistently. That job you almost took, but something felt off about it? Your instincts were right, and you found out later the company was toxic. That person you decided not to date because something seemed off? You discovered they had a pattern of manipulation in relationships. When you set boundaries, toxic people naturally filter themselves out of your life. They can't handle not having unlimited access to your time, energy, and emotional labor. They get frustrated when you stop dropping everything to handle their emergencies or solve their problems. These changes were becoming visible to everyone around you, even though the controller tried to spin them as problems. They'd say you were being difficult when you stopped tolerating disrespect. They'd call you selfish when you stopped dropping everything to fix their emergencies. They'd claim you were changing for the worse when you started choosing relationships that actually supported you instead of drained you. But people with eyes could see what was really happening. You were becoming healthier, stronger, more confident. Your decisions were leading to better outcomes. Your life was clearly improving in measurable ways. You were sleeping better, feeling less anxious, making decisions without agonizing over them for weeks. You were attracting better opportunities and healthier relationships. You were handling stress more effectively and bouncing back from setbacks faster. This is when their panic really set in. Hold that thought for a moment. I need your attention for something very important. For the first time, we're revealing everything we know about personal power, healing yourself and healing others. No filters, no holding back. We have been quietly adding all the occult secrets we've collected over literal years of spiritual practice. The techniques and wisdom that transformed us from controlled pawns into conscious creators are now available to those ready to walk the same path. This is your invitation to join Obsidian in order and support our platform so we can continue growing our megaphone to reach other chosen ones waiting for activation. By joining the Obsidian Inner Order, you're not just gaining access to forbidden knowledge. You're becoming part of a movement that's rewriting reality itself. It's a 360 win for all of us. Link is in the description. You know how some people get when they realize they're losing control? They don't back off gracefully. They escalate. They get desperate. They start making moves that reveal exactly who they really are. That's exactly what happened here, and their desperation made them sloppy. They started reaching out to extended family members, old friends, former co-workers,
Yeah, I'm about to get off
anyone
here,
who had
so.
any connection to your life. They told these people that you were in crisis, making dangerous choices, heading for disaster. They painted themselves as the only person standing between you and complete ruin. They'd call your relative whom you hadn't spoken to in years and tell them they were worried about your mental health. They'd reach out to former colleagues and Suggest you were having financial problems. They'd contact old friends and share their concerns about your new relationships or life choices. Some of these people genuinely cared about you and thought they were helping. Your family members who received these calls felt obligated to get involved because they were told you were in trouble. Your old friends felt guilty for not staying in better touch and wanted to offer support. Others just liked being part of the drama. They enjoyed having inside information and being part of the narrative. They felt important being consulted about someone else's life. But all of them were getting a carefully crafted version of your story that made you look unstable, and your controller looked like a concerned saint who was sacrificing their own well-being to save you from yourself. The controller recruited an army of concerned people to monitor you and report back. They asked these people to keep an eye on your social media, to let them know if they heard anything about your job or relationships, to reach out to you occasionally and gauge your mental state. They created a surveillance network disguised as a support system. Meanwhile, they were also working on more official channels. They tried to get legal systems involved, filing reports suggesting you were incompetent to make your own financial decisions. They contacted your bank with concerns about your spending. They reached out to your workplace with vague warnings about your stability. They tried to create a paper trail that would justify their ongoing interference in your life. They wanted official documentation that you needed oversight and guidance, evidence they could point to if anyone questioned their involvement in your personal affairs. This is the point where many people break. The isolation, the constant criticism, the feeling that everyone is against you, the sense that maybe you really are as incapable as they're telling everyone. It's designed to make you surrender and accept their control as the easier option. It's psychological torture disguised as care, and it's incredibly effective because it targets your deepest fears about yourself. But you didn't break. Instead, you did something they never expected. You moved, maybe literally. You changed cities, changed jobs, changed your entire environment. You packed up your life and started fresh, somewhere they couldn't monitor your every move or control who you met, and what opportunities came your way. Or maybe, metaphorically, you moved into a new phase of life where their opinions simply stopped mattering to you. You developed such strong internal validation that their criticism lost its power to hurt you.
Want a closer relationship with Jesus Christ? As missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we'd love to help. How we do that?
That their criticism lost its power to hurt you. You built such confidence in your own judgment that their advice became irrelevant. Either way, you evolved beyond their reach. You grew past the point where their manipulation could touch you, and that's when their carefully constructed house of cards started falling down. Because all their stories about you were based on keeping you small and keeping you close. Their entire narrative required you to stay dependent, stay local, stay within their sphere of influence. When you proved you could thrive without their oversight, their entire story fell apart. If you were really as incapable as they claimed, how were you succeeding independently? If you really needed their guidance, how were you making excellent decisions on your own? If you were really struggling, as much as they said, how were you clearly doing well? Their lies could only survive as long as people couldn't see the real you. Someone who had believed their lies about you saw you recently, maybe at a work event where you were clearly respected and successful, maybe through social media where your life looked happy and stable. Maybe you ran into a mutual friend who could see firsthand how well you were doing, and what they saw didn't match anything they'd been told. You looked healthy, happy, successful, confident. You were clearly doing well, not just surviving, but actually thriving. Your energy was good. You seemed centered and peaceful, not chaotic and struggling like they'd been led to believe. Your clothes looked nice, suggesting financial stability. Your demeanor was calm and confident, suggesting emotional health. You spoke about your life with enthusiasm and clarity, suggesting you knew exactly what you were doing and where you were headed. This person started asking questions, not just polite small talk, but real questions. How long had you been doing so well? How did you manage to turn things around? Who was helping you make these obviously good decisions? What was your secret to looking so much happier and healthier than the last time they'd heard about you? And suddenly the controller found themselves in an impossible position. They had to explain why someone who was supposedly falling apart looked better than they had in years. They had to justify why someone who supposedly needed constant guidance was clearly making excellent choices independently. Their explanations made no sense. They stammered and contradicted themselves. They tried to downplay your obvious success or suggest it was temporary. They insisted you were still struggling despite all evidence to the contrary. The more they talked, the more desperate they sounded. The more they insisted you were in trouble, the more obvious it became that they were lying. This is when other people started connecting the dots. Family members began remembering all those conversations where this person had insisted on speaking for you, making decisions for you, interpreting your words and actions for everyone else. They realized how often this person had steered conversations away from your successes and toward your problems. They remembered times when you had good news to share, but somehow the conversation always ended up focusing on your controller's concerns about your choices. They recalled how this person always seemed to have inside information about your struggles, but never seemed to celebrate your victories. Friends started questioning why they'd been getting such a negative picture of someone who was clearly doing well. They began to wonder what else they'd been told that wasn't true. They started examining their own relationship with the controller and recognizing similar patterns of manipulation. The people who had been recruited to monitor you and report back started feeling used and manipulated. They realized they'd been part of something cruel, disguised as care. They understood they'd been given false information and asked to participate in surveillance that wasn't actually helping anyone. And one by one, they started stepping back. Some of them reached out to apologize. They explained that they'd been given incomplete or false information. They said they should have talked to you directly instead of accepting someone else's version of your story. They expressed regret for any role they'd played in spreading misinformation about your life. These apologies were often emotional and detailed. Family members admitted they'd been worried about you based on false information and felt terrible for not reaching out to check on you directly. Friends confessed they'd been avoiding you because they thought you were going through a difficult time and didn't know how to help. Others just quietly stopped participating. They declined to share gossip, refused to report on your activities, and changed the subject when the controller tried to bring up your supposed problems. They stopped engaging with the surveillance network and withdrew from the campaign against you. Meanwhile, your life kept getting better in ways that made their lies increasingly absurd. You weren't struggling financially. You were making smart money decisions and seeing real results. Maybe you'd paid off debt, built up savings, or started investing. Perhaps you'd gotten a promotion, started a successful side business, or found a better paying job. Your financial stability was becoming obvious to anyone who looked.
Hey there, I'm Chris, and I work at Family Radio, and we're all about family and sharing the Word of God here.
You weren't emotionally unstable. You were calmer and more centered than you'd been in years. People noticed you seemed more confident, less anxious, better at handling stress. You were making decisions quickly and sticking to them instead of second-guessing yourself constantly. You weren't dependent on bad relationships. You were attracting healthy connections with people who respected your boundaries. Your new friends and romantic interests treated you with kindness and consideration. Your professional relationships were collaborative and supportive, rather than controlling or dramatic. Every aspect of your life that they'd claimed was falling apart was actually flourishing in measurable, observable ways. The contrast became undeniable. On one side, you had someone who was clearly healthy, successful, and making good choices. On the other side, you had someone who was obsessed with controlling another person's narrative and getting increasingly desperate as their lies were exposed. The choice of who to believe became obvious to everyone involved. This created a domino effect that nobody saw coming. The controller wasn't just losing credibility about you. People started questioning everything else they'd ever said. If they'd lie about this, what else had they lied about? If they were this manipulative with you, were they being manipulative with others too? The social consequences were swift and severe. Invitations stopped coming. People stopped returning their calls. Their opinions were no longer sought or valued in group decisions. They were experiencing the same isolation they had tried to impose on you, but without the growth and healing that had made your period of isolation productive and transformative. Now here's the psychological truth that makes this so satisfying. People who build power through manipulation and control have no foundation when that control is removed. Their entire sense of self is based on their ability to manage other people's perceptions and choices. When that ability disappears, they have nothing left to fall back on. They can't rely on genuine relationships because all their relationships were based on control dynamics, shared gossip, or manufactured drama. They can't trust their reputation because it was built on lies and manipulation. They can't rely on their own judgment because they've been so focused on controlling others that they've lost touch with reality. This is why their humiliation is so complete and so devastating. They're not just facing consequences for their actions, they're facing the truth about who they really are when they can't control anyone else. And you? You're discovering who you really are when you're free to be yourself. All those qualities they tried to suppress are now visible to everyone. Your natural leadership abilities, your good judgment, your capacity for growth and change, your ability to inspire others just by living authentically and refusing to accept limitations that don't serve you. People are drawn to your energy because it's genuine. They can sense that you've been through challenges and emerged stronger rather than bitter. They recognize authenticity because it's so rare, and they want to be around someone who represents the possibility of growth and positive change. Opportunities are opening up because your reputation is based on who you actually are, not on lies someone else told about you. The real you, capable, wise, resilient, inspiring, is finally visible to the people who matter. Success is flowing to you because you're making decisions aligned with your true values and capabilities rather than trying to prove yourself worthy of someone else's approval. The person who spent years trying to convince everyone you were failing is now watching you succeed in ways that make their lies look not just wrong, but ridiculous. Their humiliation is complete not because you sought revenge, but because truth has a way of revealing itself no matter how much energy someone puts into hiding it. Every time they told someone you couldn't be trusted with money, you were actually building financial stability and learning to make smart decisions. Every time they warned people you made bad choices, you were actually developing wisdom and good judgment through experience and reflection. Every time they painted you as dependent and needy, you were actually becoming more independent and self-sufficient. The reality of who you are has completely demolished the fiction they created about you. Their attempts to control you actually helped you develop the exact qualities they claimed you lacked. Dealing with their manipulation taught you to recognize authentic versus fake people instantly. You can spot emotional manipulation, guilt trips, and control tactics from a mile away. Now, you've developed an internal warning system that protects you from similar situations. Surviving their control system taught you to trust your own judgment, even when everyone around you is telling you you're wrong. You've learned to listen to your intuition and act on it, even when it contradicts popular opinion or conventional wisdom. Breaking free from their limitations taught you what you're truly capable of when you stop seeking permission and start taking action. You've discovered reserves of strength, creativity, and resilience you never knew you had. They accidentally created the very outcome they were trying to prevent. You're now living proof that their assessment of you was completely wrong. Every success you achieve, every healthy relationship you build, every wise decision you make is evidence that their version of you was a lie, designed to serve their need for control rather than reflect any reality about your capabilities. The people who matter can see this clearly now. They understand that the person who spent years undermining you was never protecting you. They were protecting their own power over you, and that power is gone forever. You've broken free, not just from their control, but from the entire mindset that made their control possible. You've learned to trust yourself, to value your own judgment, to recognize manipulation when you see it, and to choose relationships based on mutual respect rather than familiarity or convenience. You've become someone who can't be controlled, can't be manipulated, and can't be convinced to accept less than you deserve. The chosen one. They tried so hard to keep hidden is now fully visible to everyone who matters. And that light, your authentic self, your real power, your genuine worth, can never be dimmed again. Your controller is learning this lesson in the most humiliating way possible, and you're learning something even more valuable when you live authentically, when you trust yourself, when you refuse to accept limitations that don't serve you. The universe conspires to support your success. The person who tried to write your story has been exposed as a fraud, and you're finally free to write your own story. One of truth, growth, success, and authentic power that no one can ever take away from you again.
The Honorable Podium Series, engineered for exceptional results.
Thank you. If I'm finna go dead, so that's cool. How long have I been live?
Chosen one, the person who has been orchestrating us.
How long have I been live? My head hurt. Thank you, Father. So, this is so sad. Feels so bad.
Other victims of similar conspiracies are coming forward, encouraged by the success of your situation. Law enforcement agencies are reviewing their procedures to prevent similar abuses from happening in the future. Academic institutions are studying your case as an example of how corruption can be systematically identified and eliminated. The psychological impact on your antagonists has been profound and irreversible. The person who tried to steal your life now faces...
Hello? Yes. I'm okay. No, I had to reschedule it. I had called her earlier. But I thought my appointment with you was tomorrow after Dr. Mason's appointment anyways. Oh, well, I can't because my birthday was yesterday, so I couldn't renew my registration and stuff. So, can't really move. Yeah, but she said that you had one. You're really booked until July. Ay ay ay. Okay, okay. That works. So you can call me when. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I see what you're saying. I was asking her that, but she wasn't certain. So in case what you're saying, if it's somebody cancel, you can call me and yeah, okay. That sounds real good. Cause I was looking forward to talking to you. It's nothing really serious. It's fine. Aw, thank you, thank you. Can you do one? Cause sometimes I struggle with getting up in time in the morning, like getting out the bed, and I don't want to call in and reschedule for that reason. Like I can't come right now. So, can you do it like anytime after one? So just in case if I'm out and about, I can, you know what I'm saying? I won't have to like rush myself, or even if I'm home, I have enough time to get up. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Ooh, excuse me. Thank you. You too. They watching my live and shit.
The person who tried to steal your life now faces the destruction of everything they built through deception.
Thank you, Father.
Their network of supporters has scattered as each person tries to
Well,
minimize
they
their own
was
legal
watching my live on
exposure.
Facebook,
The artificial wealth and status they accumulated are being
but my
systematically
Facebook
stripped
live is
away
off.
through legal proceedings. Medical reports indicate they have suffered what psychiatrists classify as a complete psychological collapse requiring ongoing institutional care. The corrupt officials who enabled them face even more severe consequences. Their careers are over, their reputations are destroyed, and their futures involve significant
Thank you,
prison
Father.
time. The manic individual who thought they could manipulate the system now experiences the reality of that system's power when turned against corruption. The calculated manipulator who believed their intelligence made them untouchable has learned that intelligence without ethics ultimately leads to spectacular failure. Several of these individuals are currently in protective custody due to threats from other criminals whose operations were exposed as a result of this investigation. Your former partner's situation remains the most complex element of this story. The awakening to truth has created genuine remorse and a desire to make amends. Yet the practical realities of their
Everything makes so
involvement
much
in the
sense.
conspiracy make simple reconciliation impossible. They face their own legal challenges and must navigate the consequences of choices made under manipulation, though not under compulsion. Legal experts suggest that their cooperation with the investigation may result in reduced charges, though significant consequences remain inevitable. The resolution of your case establishes a new standard for how such situations will be handled in the future. The investigation techniques that expose this conspiracy are now being applied to similar cases across the country. The legal precedents established through your situation provide tools for other victims to seek justice. The institutional changes implemented as a result of your case will prevent similar abuses from succeeding in the future. Training programs based on your case are now being implemented in law enforcement agencies nationwide. Most importantly, Chosen One, your role in this transformation extends far beyond personal vindication. Your persistence in speaking the truth when nobody listened became the catalyst for systemic change. Your refusal to accept injustice as inevitable created the conditions that allowed justice to ultimately prevail. Your authentic strength, built through genuine effort rather than manipulation, proved more durable than any artificially constructed power structure. Historians studying this case describe it as a perfect example of how individual integrity can overcome institutional corruption. The shockwaves from your case continue to reverberate through systems that once seemed untouchable. Officials who might have been tempted to abuse their positions now understand that such behavior will be exposed and punished. Individuals who might have been tempted to manipulate others for personal gain now see the inevitable consequences of such choices. The balance of power has shifted permanently in favor of truth and authentic achievement. Legislative changes are being proposed based on the vulnerabilities your case exposed, ensuring that future victims will have better protection and faster recourse. Your story proves that chosen ones aren't identified by mystical signs or supernatural abilities. They're identified by their unwavering commitment to truth in the face of overwhelming opposition. They're recognized by their persistence in speaking facts when lies seem more convenient for everyone else. They're distinguished by their ability to maintain authentic strength, while others choose the temporary illusion of artificial power. Your case has become a teaching example in ethics courses, demonstrating how moral courage can ultimately triumph over systemic corruption. The force unit that got shocked by your case represents more than just law enforcement agencies.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private.
It represents the fundamental forces of justice and truth that operate in our world, even when they seem absent or ineffective. Your situation proves that these forces may work slowly, yet they work thoroughly, and they ultimately restore balance to situations that seem hopelessly corrupted. The institutional response to your case has created new protocols that will protect future victims and ensure faster intervention in similar situations. The divine intervention in your case wasn't supernatural. It was the natural result of truth's inherent power to eventually surface, no matter how deeply it's buried. The justice you received wasn't mystical. It was the practical application of legal and ethical standards by professionals trained to enforce them. The protection you experienced wasn't magical. It was the institutional safeguards that exist to defend people exactly like you from exactly this type of abuse. Your case proves that these systems, while sometimes slow to respond, are ultimately more powerful than any criminal conspiracy. Your victory in this situation creates a permanent record that will inspire and protect others facing similar challenges. The precedent established through your case will be cited in courtrooms and training facilities for years to come. The shock your opponents experienced will be remembered as a cautionary tale about the ultimate futility of trying to build success through the destruction of others. Legal scholars predict that the precedents established in your case will be referenced in constitutional law for decades. The most beautiful aspect of your vindication is its completeness. Not only were the false charges against you completely dismissed,